Today's Laurel Park card features two stakes, both for Maryland-bred or Maryland-sired horses. We've got the Howard and Sondra Bender Memorial Stakes. That's a 7-furlong test for the boys. And then we've got the Politely going 3/4 for the girls, joined here by John Piassek from the Maryland Horse Breeders Association to kind of give us the lowdown on these Maryland-breds. And John, let's start here with the Howard and Sondra Bender Memorial Stakes. That's race 7 on a 9-race program. And we've got old veterans here, a bunch of them, pretty interesting group of horses, including Whereshetoldmetogo.
Yeah, Whereshetoldmetogo on the cusp of becoming a next Maryland-bred millionaire. If he wins this race, he will pass the $1 million mark in earnings. And he really is the kind of horse that racing is all about. Very hard-knocking gelding, 13-time stakes winner. He's won stakes at 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. He loves this track. He's won 8 times from 11 starts on it. Won this race last year, and all eyes are going to be on him. And in fact, this race could have, and politely too, could have a lot of implications for Maryland-bred Horse of the Year.
Yeah, he's an interesting horse too. Trainer Brittany Russell has done a really, really good job. He's a horse that likes to be fresh, likes to get some time off, doesn't, not a horse that you race every couple of weeks. He's a horse that needs his time between races, and she's done a very good job spotting him through the course of the last couple seasons, really, particularly this year, where he's 4 for 5 with a second-place finish.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that one second-place finish came when he was coming off fairly short rest. Last time out at Delaware Park, he finished second in an open allowance race off about a 4-week layoff, but he has a few stakes wins in his lines when coming off a long break. And this is also not that long a break either. It's about 4 weeks since that race at Delaware.
Be interesting to see that horse. Now, John, it seems like to me, as I look at this race, that possibly there's only one real kind of speed horse here, and that's Twisted Ride.
Yeah, number 7, Twisted Ride, the only non-Maryland bred in the field. However, he is Maryland sired. He's by a great notion. He's coming off a solid effort last time out at Parks on Election Day in a second level allowance optional claiming race. Kind of chased the pace, held on for second, and ran far and away a career best figure on the Brisnet scale. He ran a 97, and that is the second time in three recent starts, at least in his 3 starts for the Michael Moore barn, that he ran in the 90s. As you said, there's not much speed in here. Monday Morning Quarterback has some speed down to the inside, but in my opinion, he has not been in the same horse since coming off a long layoff and starting his 5-year-old season. Yes, he won last time out, but that was in only a 4-horse field, and he was drifting out late, kind of an exhibition. I think Twisted Ride is the only serious speed horse in this group, and if Monday Morning Quarterback backs up pretty quickly, he could find himself pretty lonely on the lead when they turn for home and leave the others in a spot where they really have to run in order to catch him.
Now we've got one horse out of the Maryland, at least one, actually more than one, but one horse in particular I want to talk about out of the Maryland Million Sprint. That's the show horse from that race, Alwaysinahurry. That race went to For the Love of Bourbon. Always in a Hurry, finished 3rd, just beaten less than 2 lengths that day. So a pretty solid outing for this Del Capuano trainee, John.
Beaten less than 2 lengths, and he made a good rally that day. He had a tough assignment, broken posts in 10, hadn't come from off the pace, but he really closed well late, especially in the last AP. Really made up a lot of ground and did get the show spot. 2 starts back at Pimlico in an allowance optional claiming race. He beat Wonder Where Craig Is with a huge favorite that day, overcame a wide trip in order to do so, and has run his 2 best figures of the year in his last 2 starts. As you said, there isn't a lot of speed on here, but if Monday Morning Quarterback is a little more feisty than people think, and him and Twisted Ride get into a speed duel, it could possibly set things up for Alwaysinahurry.
One other horse we'll just touch base on quickly here is for the trainer Jose Corrales, a somewhat crafty trainer. Jose Corrales has a tendency to kind of jump up when you least expect him. And what about 110 in this spot, John?
Yeah, Jose has not won that many races at this meet, but 2 of them have come with 110, and both of his wins were an extremely impressive closing style. He made big moves, big wide moves in both of those starts and one going away. We ran huge figures in those 2 spots. He ran a 98 2 starts back when beating a condition claiming field, and then he ran a 94 against Maryland-bred allowance company last out. It's definitely going to be a class test for him. He hasn't faced horses nearly as good before. That being said, if he makes that kind of move here, it could be tough to hold off.
All right, let's put you on the spot, John Piassek. What's the order of finish here in the Howard and Sondra Bender Memorial?
I'll say 3-7-4. Richard told me to go. It's a little too classy. He'll get up over Twisted Ride late, and 110 comes on and gets third.
All right, there you have it. John Piassek's picks for the Howard and Sondra Bender Memorial.